Welcome. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Welcome to the Tuesday night build show. I'm your host, Ben Estrino, over here at the Empower Studio. I know, this isn't actually the studio. The real studio is really chaotic right now. But tonight we're building a couple of awesome PCs. One of which is for, the first build that we're going to be doing tonight, is going to be for the FITES event over in Pennsylvania. So you might have heard me make a couple of announcements on the Twitter or the Facebook page, but this is the build that we're going to be doing, that we're donating to the event, that is going to be raffled off at the event. So if you're going to be at the event, this is the PC that you're going to be putting in a bid to win. You might be walking home with this thing. Who knows? But we can go ahead and get started. We'll run through the build list of everything that we're going to be putting in the system, and then we'll get started with the actual build. And you're always welcome to ask me any questions. I'm here and ready to go. So let's go ahead and switch over to our top down, take a look at our parts, run through our build list, and get started. So, right off the rip, I know my arm goes this way, but it's actually this way, kind of backwards. Hey, what's up? How's it going, man? Over on YouTube. Welcome to the build show, the Tuesday night build show, where I was supposed to start earlier, but kept getting phone calls. So here we are. So this is the FITES 2024 build that we're going to be doing for the event. We'll be at the event this upcoming Friday. So it starts on Friday. And if you're curious about the event, go to fites.net and check it out there. I think there's still some tickets left. You could probably double check in the chat. I think Caesar's watching right now as well and probably could comment on that. But I believe there's still some tickets left. I saw that on the website a couple days ago. So if you're interested and you want to hang out with me, I will actually be at the event with a table and everything, offering some cool services at the event. So it'll be pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited to go down there, meet everybody, and have a good time at the event. So let's run through the build. We're starting off with the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X 3D. So this has the 3D V cache. It is on the AM4 platform, but it is a very powerful gaming processor. And you can also get away with streaming with it as well. When I say get away, I mean it'll do a pretty good job. So if this is a system that you wanted to stream with, but ideally this was my focus was primarily gaming on this build. So the X3D processor is going to give you probably the best gaming experience you've probably ever had if you haven't had one of these CPUs before. We're going to be putting that on a MSI Mag B550 Tomahawk Max Wi-Fi motherboard. So this is the last version of this board, meaning the most up-to-date version of the board, which is a full ATX board, has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth built into it, supports PCIe Gen 4, which is what we want, especially for the 4000 series cards that we're going to be running. For the RAM, we're going to be running 32 gigabytes of DDR4 3600 megahertz, and this is going to be the brand that we always use, which is Team Group, and it's the T-Force Delta, which is addressable RGB. And then for the storage, we're going to have a 2 terabyte M.2 Gen 4 SSD, which has a read-write of about 5,000 megabits per second, so it's pretty snappy. So it'll make your boot times really quick, your game load times super fast, and give you overall just a really snappy experience, which is what we want, especially in our gaming PCs. We don't really want to wait on things, we want to play. So we're going to be cooling the CPU with a brand new, recently released, meaning like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Arctic released this cooler, and I did get my hands on a few of them. So I had one left, and I was like, this is perfect because I want to put it in a build that's going to be around for a long time, because I assume the person that wins this is going to keep it and hold on to it and cherish it for as long as they can. So this cooler will do that and keep their CPU running nice and cool. Plus, there's something very unique about this cooler, which is the Liquid Freezer 3 by Arctic. It has an offset for AMD, AM4 and AM5. So it has an offset mounting where it mounts slightly lower and does leave a portion of the CPU exposed. But the reason why is because the hotspot on AMD CPUs are towards the bottom. If it's on the motherboard, it's towards the bottom. And this is targeting or centering up on that hotspot. So this particular cooler does really good with AMD, and that's why we went with this cooler. And this has the addressable RGB fans on it, so we'll have RGB, and we're going to be mounting it at the top of the case. To power, or let's actually talk about the graphics card. We're going to be running a Gigabyte GeForce RTX 4070 Ti. I was originally going to do just a 4070 or the 7800 XT. Those were the two other cards I had to choose, but how it all worked out, I was sent this 4070 Ti by mistake. It was supposed to be a 4070 Ti Super, and free ya if you're here. This is actually that 4070 Ti I told you is going to get used one way or another. It would get used, but it was supposed to be for another build, and they sent me a 4070 Ti by mistake, not a 4070 Ti Super. We needed the 4070 Ti Super for a customer build, so I ended up getting stuck with the card. I could have sent it back, but I was like, let's just put it in this build and call it a day. So we'll get 4070 Ti, which is equivalent to an RTX 3090 performance. So you're going to get some really good performance out of this card, and it's also going to perform at that 3090 level with less power. So you'll have less, I guess, a lesser electricity bill in the long run. Talking about electricity, we're going to be powering this with a Segitep 850 watt gold power supply, which also has the PCIe 5.0 cable to power this card. So you're really set up for the 16-pin 12-volt high-power cables that NVIDIA is going to be pushing for now on all of their cards. I believe that is what they said they're going to be doing. So the 5000 series, we're going to have 16-pin 12-volt high-power cables on all of them. So this power supply sets you up so that you could just you have the cable to plug that GPU in the future. So next up, we have some power supply cables, extension cables, which are going to be red and black, as well as that high power 12-volt high power extension cable for the graphics card, which is also red black. And this is a red black theme in honor of AMD, because this is an AMD build, minus the fact that we didn't go with an AMD graphics card. It's an NVIDIA, but who cares? The CPU, the heart is AMD. So that was the theme. I also have some of this stuff that I was thinking about putting on the tubes. So if I have enough length, I will do that. But I only have, I don't know, about 2.5 feet, maybe 2 feet of this stuff. And I don't know if it's going to be enough to cover the tubes on the AIO, just to add to it. And we're going to be building in a red Montec King 95 case. It's the Pro Edition, so it has the fans included as well, but it's a red exterior case to match, or to go with the red and black theme. Hey Bobby, what's up, man? Let's go. FITES 2020, or yeah, 2024. Bye-bye. I'll see you over there if you're going to be there. Does anybody have any questions on the build? Hey Steve, what's up? I had my 4070 Ti and my 5800X 3D computer, but removed it and put in the i9 12900KS computer, and I put the 7800 XT in the 5800X 3D computer. Nice! Did the 4070 Ti, I mean, it probably did. It probably ran it just fine, right? The 5800X 3D? That's what we're doing here. This is the 5800X 3D that we're going to be running. I don't think there's going to be much of a bottleneck at all on that. If anything, yeah, I think it'd be fine. But let's, I mean, if nobody has any questions, we can go ahead and get started with the build. What say you? Shall we do it? Finally? I've been kind of slammed with builds all week, so, and last minute requests. And the amount of things that I got to do between now and Thursday, which is when I'm supposed to head down to Pennsylvania, is insane. So let's hope I get it all done so I can be there on time, right? Caesar's over there like, what? What, Ben? All right, let's go ahead and get started with the motherboard, the CPU, the RAM, and the SSD. We'll get those mounted here, and then we'll probably get the mounting brackets for the cooler on the motherboard, and then we'll get that dropped into the case. So, let's get started. You see that? MSI says, tech meets aesthetic. Both are great computers. I have not gone above 11 gigabytes of VRAM yet. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. I've had a lot of Coca-Cola today, so I apologize, but the caffeine levels and the sugar levels are extremely high. So there's a lot of jitteriness. I'm just kidding. I'm not that jittery. But still, caffeine levels high. Let's get a good zoom on this board so we can see what we're doing. Oh yeah. Is that a good enough zoom? Because we could go closer if you guys want it. This camera has a 20x zoom. Nice. So our Ryzen 7 5800X 3D just dropped in there perfectly. Let's go ahead and get the RAM and the SSD ready to go here. We're going 2 terabytes M.2 Gen 4 for the SSD. And we're going 32 gigs of DDR4 3600 megahertz CL18. The SSD is by Silicon Power. It's the UD90 if you were curious to look it up. The model ends with UD90. And that's how we kind of talk about their models, is the last 4 characters of the model number. The RAM is by Team Group, and this is their T-Force Delta addressable RGB RAM. 2 16 gigabyte sticks at 32 total. We're going to be dropping these sticks into A2, B2. I have not seen you do a lot of 7800 XT builds. It's good value at $500, yes. I haven't gotten to do them because customers all want NVIDIA. Everybody's completely stuck on the whole frames wins games mentality from NVIDIA. So when it comes to graphics cards, there's barely any request to do a AMD graphics card in their build. Almost everything is NVIDIA. And even when I talk to people, you know, really when it comes down to, hey, thanks for the like. Jeff and Carol over on Facebook, thank you for the likes. But when it comes to the graphics cards, more budget-friendly builds, I steer people to AMD the best I can. But when it comes to higher-end builds, everybody wants what they want, and it's NVIDIA. So when it comes to more budget, you really don't have a choice but to go, you know, let's go AMD, save some money and get the most bang for our buck. You know, they're trusting me at that point to get them the most performance possible with the money that they have for the build. Versus, hey, I've got, you know, $2.5 grand. Let's go ahead. I want an NVIDIA card. But I mean, I have done these before. So it's not like I haven't done them before. They're just rare. All right, let's go ahead and get the SSD installed. We're going to need a standoff. Done. Are there any studs available? I've got a job for you. The SSD just slots right into the M.2 slot, and then we're going to use an M.2 screw to secure it, and then we'll put the heat spreader right over the top of it after, of course, peeling the plastic off the thermal pad. We'll get rid of some of this trash. And we are ready for the mounting brackets. Hey, Free Yaw, what's up, man? Over on Kick. Downloading everything right now? Awesome. Appreciate everything you've helped me with. Oh, no problem, man. That's what I'm here for. What I'm here for. I hope you get to at least start enjoying the new rig maybe tonight, right? All right. Arctic Liquid Freezer 360. We're gonna get the mounting brackets out of this box, this package that it came in. We're gonna get those out. because I want to get the brackets on the board before we put the board in the case. So we needed that little box with the hardware. But this cooler is a badass when it comes to AMD. That's the short version of this. To remove the stock brackets, right? Then we're going to add the Arctic brackets. You do have them labeled right and left to make sure if you're ever building with this cooler that you put these on the correct sides or your offset will be off. Nobody wants an off offset. Kind of on the struggle bus. There we go. Brackets are installed. We're ready to get the case out and get that motherboard installed into the case. You guys ready to see how red this thing is? This thing is red. Oh. That's the bottom. And that's the top. Youch. So really it's just the exterior that is red, and then the interior is black. But I mean, this thing's premium. I love these cases by Montech. They are pretty good quality. It also has a replaceable front panel, so you could replace this whole front panel with a mesh option. So if you want to go with mesh and install fans on the mesh, that is optional. But that is not what, that's not the design that we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to keep the glass on this one tonight. But all these extra components that you are seeing here are all included with the PC. So if you ever wanted to change it out or change something, you'll have the extra parts for it. Huh. That is all there. If ever needed. Let's go ahead and drop this motherboard in, since all the studs are all in the right places. The back plate is already on the back of the board. The I/O shield. We just need to mount it. Total of 9 screws. Hey, Moonbane Wolf, thanks for the follow over there on Twitch. Just so you're aware, we're streaming to Twitch, Kick, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter all at the same time. So you might see different conversations in different areas. How much is a case with 6 fans? I'm guessing 150. Steve, if you look it up, the prices fluctuate, so I think we got this one for about $160. But some of these ones from Montech are almost $200. But I mean, these include not just, 120 fans. I'll show you in a second here. 2 more screws. But they also have the reversible fans. So for example, these 2 fans that look like they're backwards, they're actually reversed blades. So they're intake. So that's an intake, both the fans here. And same with the bottom. The bottom are reversed. So it's not your typical fan. They're reversed for the aesthetics. You're paying a little bit more for aesthetics with the fans included. You could buy the individual fans, and it's actually a better deal to buy the case with the fans than it is to buy the individual Montech fans. But you can see here, you got 2 140mm fans on the side, 3 120s on the bottom, and all 5 of these fans are reversed And then you've got a standard 120 not reversed here on the side or the rear. So you've got 6 fans total included, right? 4, 5, 6, yeah. And then there's a ton of different options you can do with this case. So kind of like the Lian Li case, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. So now that we've got the motherboard installed, I am going to take the time to route the cables from the front panel to the motherboard. And then we're also going to get the EPS cables and anything else that we need to plug in, such as the motherboard connectors for the AIO. Get those plugged in. I think this even has a RGB controller on the back of it, but I might be wrong. Yeah, it does, I think. A lot of cool things there. A lot of good value. I was close. I could see 200, maybe find it on sale for 175. Yeah, I think I spent about 160, but I also have business pricing, so my pricing might be a little bit different. Meaning I can buy, 4 of these and get 10% off, for example. These are the headers for the cooler. This cooler also has a VRM fan I don't talk enough about. But what that is a fan that's on the pump that cools the VRMs, or helps cool it. We gotta remove this panel now. But there is an RGB and fan hub included, which is pretty cool. So all I got to do is plug everything into that, and then it'll be externally powered. It'll save my motherboard header from having to power everything. Those usually cost anywhere from $15 to $20 if you want a nice one. So I made System Fan 1, the VRM fan controller, and then I made the pump header on the motherboard controlling the pump, and then the fan to control the CPU fans on the cooler. And then we'll push the rest of these cables through right here the best we can, and we'll zip tie it once the time comes, once we have the cooler installed and this plugged into the block. It has to run to the block like so. I think it goes like right there. We'll let that hang out here until we're ready, and then we'll clean it up afterwards. Next up, we want to get our USB-C, USB 3, and our front panel power connections, etc. All that needs to get plugged in. Front panel HD audio. And we have an RGB header, which I think is by the power button. It is. I was correct. And then a PWM fan. I think I'll make the system fan 2, which is up here. We'll run this up here, which is going to control the case fans, basically. Is what it will be doing. I'll send that through there. Then all we got to do is flip it over and plug everything in. System fan 2 here. And we'll clean these up here once I get to that point. I always try to plug the USB-C cord in backwards first. I don't know why. It's like, hey, we're going to try to trick you every time. Our JFP1, which is our power switch, reset switch, and our power LEDs. Like we just have the front panel power button and power LED. Trying to decide the best way to plug this USB-C in, or USB 3.0. And I need a zip tie already. Already need a zip tie. First zip tie of the build. Got a feeling it'll be one of many. Yes, it's the Montech King Pro, the 95 Pro. That is correct. 100% correct. All right, let's get our EPS cables out. Our CPU power. We've got extensions. We're going to use those to our advantage. Of course, we went with red-black for the theme. Don't need those. Look at that. It's going to look so thick when it's done. With the red on the case and the black interior with the red and black cables. Throw some red RGB in there. It's going to look delicious. It's been a while since I've done a red and black build. A long time. Kind of got that Lamborghini red to it, you know? Alright, cable comes added to the 24 pin. I decided just to do it because why not? Do it. Oh yeah, it's looking popping already. It's popping. Oh, exactly what I envisioned. I'm just so proud of myself. Now we're doing the EPS cable. We're putting the cable combs on the EPS CPU power, 8-pin. Get that added. Mr. Cable Comb. We'll try to squeeze that down and under that cooler, like so. Oh yeah, look at that. That red's just popping. It's pretty fancy. Somebody's going to have a fancy build after this upcoming weekend. We should make this a complete build on the website. The 95. As you've been watching, you've been shopping Amazon, and the King 95 Pro are beautiful cases. Oh yeah, 100%. I love the fact that they don't just come in black and white, but they also added the red and the blue colors as well, which is super cool. But I am going to make this case a series on the website, so you'll be able to order this exact build or similar to it from the website here soon. The Montech makes a good case. Hey, howdy, what's up, Army Vet? How's it going? We're doing a red-black themed build for the FITES 2024 LAN event, which I'll be at this weekend. Rough? Oh no, what's wrong? Very nice, thank you. What's rough? we'll move on to the cooler. Lack of sleep, plenty of pain. Hey, I think it's the weather, honestly. It's been screwing with me too. I have not had good sleep in the last week, and I think it's just because of the weather changing from hot to cold to hot to cold to hot to cold, or I'll say warm to cold. And then the rain, it's been awful. It really messes with you. And then the pain, I assume it's probably joint pain. And that I have been experiencing with my knees as well. And I relate that to the weather as well, also. I blame it on the weather. Joint muscles, I could tell you when it's going to rain. Yes, I have the same experience, and I'm only 33 or 34. Pretty sad. So those are post-football injuries. Or past football injuries. All right, so here's our Arctic liquid cooler 3 with the offset mounting. I'm going to go ahead and get this case stood up. And we're going to mount this radiator. Yes, this top panel does come off. And I could mount this and then mount there's a simpler way to do this, basically, is what I'm saying. And I'm doing it the less simple but more simple way. If that makes sense. I'm disobeying instructions by Montec. Trying to cut a few seconds off the build. What I'm going to try to do is get this in here like that. Mount this without having to take that bracket off. Like so. Get one of these screws started. Cheat just a little bit. It's March, so we get high winds and we have trees down in town, and it's very wet, of course, in Washington. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing over here in Michigan. It's just windy, wet, cold, but then we'll randomly have like a 55-degree day. Like the last 2 days have been just randomly warm as it's trying to transition to summer. Oh yeah, the spring cleaning, that'll do it. I have to do that as well. There's a ton of crap I gotta clean up. Especially over here after the Christmas builds, there's an abundance of cardboard that I have nowhere to put. Except burn it. I try to recycle it, but there's programs out there that want to charge you a whole bunch of money to recycle cardboard, and I just can't afford it. So I burn it. I mean, the amount of cardboard that I'm talking about is cardboard enough to keep a bonfire going all night. For a few nights. You know, for a small bonfire. I bet, yeah. That's the stuff that you don't really think of as you get into the business, of course. I think I've talked about this before. And then all of a sudden you have a mountain of cardboard and you're like, what do I do with all this? As you're breaking it down, trying to, you know, condense. It doesn't matter what you do. It's just an endless flow of cardboard. Are the display ports only 2.0? I can't get one of my monitors to connect. I'd have to double check. Pretty sure they're not. backwards compatible, so if you have an older DisplayPort cable, it should work. But you might have to go into Windows settings and enable the screen, maybe. It's probably DisplayPort 1.4a. It is probably the DisplayPort. On your graphics card, it's probably 1.4a3. Or 3 of them are 1.4a. Sorry. And you have HDMI 2.1a. But they should be backwards compatible. Should be. So if you want to verify it's the cable, if you have another monitor. Hey, thanks for the sub, Moon Banewolf. But if you want to, over on Twitch, if you want to check to see if it's the cable, you can actually go on and grab one of your other monitor cables, DisplayPort cables, and just test it to verify it's not like something else. Plug it in, replace that cable, swap it out just temporarily. That's a way you could test, and then you'll know if you need to buy a new cable or not. Alright. We've got the cooler, the radiator mounted. Gonna lay this back down. We're ready to mount this bad boy to the CPU. I'm gonna go ahead and paste it up. Then I want to get this plugged in. Of course, go. And then we're gonna mount this thing with the offset. And this thing is kind of a pain in the ass to mount. Not gonna lie. These spring-loaded screws, they don't like to line up perfectly. So if you haven't done it before, it's kind of a pain in the butt. You gotta line it up perfectly. In order to make it work. And then you got to really use a little bit of force to get it down, the second one. I still don't have it mounted right. There we go. Got it. A little tricky. I wish this would be a little bit more simple or simplified. Like removable spring-loaded screws. Maybe. I don't know. Throwing ideas out there. Maybe Arctic will one day stumble across my video. Send the RGB cable back to the back because we're going to plug that into the hub. And then we need a couple of zip ties here real quick just to clean up this cable mess, harness. And then we'll put the lid back, the lid onto the AIO here. And it'll look way more badass. got a couple of zip ties on that, so we clean that up. Empty. Then we'll put the lid on the AIO block. And we'll move on to something else a little bit more interesting, such as the power supply or the graphics card. Probably way more interesting. Do. I think this is one of the coolest AIO blocks that Arctic has released. Looking, anyway, the coolest aesthetic looking one. I mean, look at that thing. It's simple, yet elegant. And it's gonna look badass when it's red. Oh yeah. All right, see if let's actually look at the tubes real quick, see if we got enough length. I think we do. Good. Trim it up. See what we got. Have extra there. Not cut it over the PC so these little things don't get everywhere. But this, a little customized trick that I do, add a little bit of flavor to the build. Need a little, want to add a little flavor to your build. Mesh stuff is like $5 to $10 on Amazon. Handy. Adds flavor. Flavor, it's like salt. Ripping this stuff a bit. Okay. Don't do janky here. What do you guys think of that? So yeah, I think it might be the cable. I did the HDMI and it worked. Yeah, it's probably the cable then, unfortunately. That's pretty. Thank you. Just a little, you know, flavor. So we're doing this for FITES. We want to make it perfect and beautiful. Elegant. I used to have been a great group of guys. Truly great group. Put my finger in the way. Oh. Nice. Now that is cool. Hey, yo, what's up? Y'all got some deals kicking, eh? Yeah, we got deals kicking. What are you looking for? Steve over on YouTube, never realized that my 7800 XT was DisplayPort 2.1. Makes me want to buy a new monitor. Yeah. I think I'm running a... No, I'm doing fine. I was going to say I probably have to buy a new monitor too. But I think I'm okay. So I got an Asus Tough Gaming 1440p 32-inch. And that's plugged into my 3070 Ti. And I think that has got the right connections. I don't see a need to upgrade. For me. Yeah, if you want to check out the website, you're always welcome to look, see if we have deals. Right now, we don't have anything that's like substantial because we always try to deliver the best bang for the buck either way. So I guess you could consider our deals always deals because we're always updating the prices. The Titan does need a little bit of love on the website. We need to revamp that one, the Titan series, because it hasn't been touched since before Christmas. So we do have to take care of that one. But the Titan X3D series, the Titan Force X3D series, that's actually a new series that we just added to the website. Take a look at that one, especially if you want an AMD CPU. That one is a banging deal. You can get a X3D processor on the 7000 series AM5 platform with an RTX 4090, I think at $4,500, which is basically better than anybody else that I've seen recently with a 4090. Just as an example, it's a good deal. Yeah, that really adds to this build. I am so glad I remembered I had some of this and I added it. That is just perfect. All right. So next up, we could drop the graphics card in here, I guess, right? And then all we got to do is put a power supply in, do some cable management on the backside. I'll tell you what, building in this case was super easy. You're disgustingly green when it comes to PC stuff, so I'm just trying to game and do some light streaming. Nice! And thanks for the follow, sir. Some light streaming. So anytime anybody says light streaming or just the word in general streaming, the first thing you want to do for streaming is make sure A, you have at least an 8-core processor, B, you have 32 gigs of DDR, at least DDR4 RAM, and then C, an NVIDIA graphics card with the NVEC decoder. So basically anything better than, or anything at least from an RTX 3060 and up, is going to have the decoder or encoder that you want for streaming. And that'll give you the best kind of bang for your buck for streaming. So those are the 3 kind of key things for hardware when it comes to streaming and gaming on the same PC. So the gaming is just at that point involved. But streaming, those are the 3 things that you want if you're streaming and gaming on the same PC. And if you want, I can walk you through a couple of systems. If you want to schedule a time, we can walk through a couple of different systems on the website, or if you want to shoot me a message on Facebook or Twitter, or shoot me an email, which is support@empowergamingpcs.com. I can send you some links that I would recommend if you have a budget in mind. Or if you want to submit a custom build request on the website, go to the website, www.empowergamingpcs.com, and then select the custom builds at the very top and submit a request, and I'll build out the best possible PC with the budget that you give me. And it lets you choose that I'm gaming and streaming, etc., so I know what you're going to be doing with the PC. But right now, I will tell you I'm a little bit No, actually, I'm caught up on my estimates now. So the GPU that we're putting in here is the 4070 Ti. And this is the Gigabyte Eagle. The Eagle. Eagle 1. No, it's not the Eagle 1, but it is the Eagle. Love your website. Love that green circle that follows my cursor around. I actually came across that. Where was it? Dang it, I can't think of the name. But it was a pretty cool tool I found. It was pretty easy to set up on the website. And as soon as I added it, I'm like, yeah, I gotta have it. And I played around with it for probably an hour and a half or too long. But thank you. I appreciate the... Hello, James. Man, you're real one looking out for news. I'll shoot you. Yeah, no worries, man. That's what I'm here for, is I'm your golem in the world for PCs. I am your guide. But I won't stab you in the back and take the ring and fall into the hot lava on the in the fires of Mount Doom. I won't do that. Or bite your finger off. Probably should not have used that metaphor. Here it is, our Gigabyte Eagle RTX 4070 Ti. Wish we had an MSI card with the MSI board, or an MSI motherboard with this Gigabyte board with this Gigabyte card, but this is what we ended up with. So this one's coming out of me pockets. Me pockets is. So it is what it is. I tried. Still a pretty badass PC. Yeah, shoot me a message or just go to the website and submit that custom build request. I could get started like that. Oh, I forgot. I have a GPU bracket I wanted to use. Shoot! Because it's the discrete one. I've got a discrete graphics card bracket, support bracket that I wanted to use. One is going to unknown location. I may not ever see this PC again, so I'm going to make sure this is on there. Hey, Degas Rick, what's going on, man? How's it going? How's that build treating you? Bro, love that red in there. Oh, thanks. We're going with red and black for the AMD theme. So yeah, we're fully committed to the theme. But this is a build I'm doing for the FITES LAN event over in Pennsylvania, where I'm going to be attending this upcoming Friday. And this PC will be raffled off at the event. The one lucky person at that event is taking this thing home. Nice. GG's. Yes, sir. Do. Alright, the support bracket's gonna help the weight of the cards out. This card isn't that bad at all. I'm not really worried about it. But because I won't probably ever see this PC again, I just want to make sure this is in place. I don't know what thread that is. Beautiful. Love it. Nice. Loving it. All right, so we've got the 16-pin, 12-volt high-power cable for the GPU as well, in red and black. There's no compromise on the aesthetics here at all. We are all in. And I think I'm going to go down and up. The other option is to go up and over. What do you guys think? Do I go up and over like this? As an example. Or should I go down and under? Down and under the GPU. Like that. Which one do you guys like better? I think the down and under look better. The meshed too much with those. I think down and under look better. Super clean. Down and under looks better. I agree with you, Nasty Yoda. I agree with you. Simple. Well, I think all that's left is putting in a power supply, doing a little bit of cable management magic on the backside. Then we get to see what this thing actually looks like. Need some zip ties. Zip ties. All right, power supply time. Let's do it. We're going to be running an 850 watt 80 plus gold that has the PCIe 5.0 cable on it. So it's a direct connection from the power supply to the graphics card. This is by Segitep. Sorry, bumped the mic. We got one CPU. I'm going to put both of them on there, just in case they ever go to upgrade and they have a second CPU header. It'll just be riding in the back and available. Also going to install the PCIe cables that we aren't going to be using, but I'm going to install them just so they're on the back as well. Pretty much we're going to load this bad boy up and just cable manage all of it. If we know the cables are there. That one. There's this little teeny tiny peel. Just requested a custom from y'all. Thanks, man. I'll take a look at it probably after the stream. Oh, yeah. This thing's going to be beautiful. Both of these are CPU. We're going to kind of put them in such a way that they can be basically routed to the top without making a huge mess. Right? Go. And we just need one of these plugged in. The rest of the other one's just going to sit here and chill till whatever is needed. We'll pull the slack through like so towards the bottom. Good, good. Then we've got big boy 24 pin here. This one I actually should have gone underneath this. Good. Shoot. I meant. And this one's got some length. So And we need this up here. I might zip tie this bad boy first. We get it positioned where I want it. But then we know what direction we're going to need to run this thing. Which I think we're gonna have to run it. Gosh, darn it. Up and then down. As ugly as it may look. I think that's gonna be our only option here. Then come around like so. Connect. Without totally bending the crap out of that. Where's my snips? And these are our peripheral cables, which we'll want to save for last. These PCIe we probably should have buried, but we'll make it so that they're accessible by not burying them. And we'll zip tie them up nice and neat. Probably just put them on the bottom here. If they ever are needed for service, they'll be there, ready and waiting. Like that, nice and neat. And I'll just tuck it in here. Stowed away, ready for use later at a later time. Now these are our peripherals. So hard drives. We want to be conscious because we want to get some SATA power up to the hard drive bays in case they want to add power or hard drives. Molex, least likely going to be used. We're just going to tuck this one away actually underneath this bad boy. Right here. We'll just tuck it to the side, and then we'll tuck a second one there with SATA power so it's available for hard drive use. Or future storage if needed. And then we'll Velcro that. Right? Good. Actually, this should have been there too. Dang it. It was almost good. Thousand times better. And then the last little bit is another SATA cable that we're going to need to power the fan and RGB hub. We'll kind of collectively put that one down here. in such a way that it can plug into this power connection here. I've got set up, ready to go. Oh, how do y'all ship whole PCs? Like, I can't imagine sensitive parts would make the trip very well. So some of, so number one, we will uninstall the graphics card. That's really the only most sensitive part that's not going to, that is going to most likely get damaged while shipping, unless there's major support inside there, and we just don't take the chance. We'll just uninstall the card, and then once you receive it, really all you got to do is pull out the internal packaging, install the graphics card, which if you need any support, we can support you over the phone or through a video call, etc. It takes like maybe 2 or 3, maybe 10 minutes tops, I guess, if you've never done it before, to install the card. It doesn't take much at all. And in fact, you would be able to watch your PC built live on stream here, so you would see exactly what I'm doing to install your graphics card. So you'd have a video reference of it as well for your exact PC. But that's really it. The graphics card's the most important piece that gets uninstalled for shipping. And that's because of the weight of the cards. They're just so heavy, they'll bounce or vibrate, and they'll damage the PCIe slot or break the board on the card. So the best thing to do is just ship it without the graphics card installed, and then it'll make it in one piece just fine. Since Christmas, we've only had one damaged since, I think, November of 2023. The one PC damaged, which literally looked like somebody took the PC and dropped it 15 feet or hit it with a semi-truck, is kind of what it looked like. So if that happens, there's really nothing you can do to survive that, except for we go through the insurance claim process and get it all fixed up for you or replaced. That's just bad luck when that shit happens to us. Okay. Maybe 1 or 2 more zip ties and we're good to go. Fair enough, boss. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, we have a pretty high success rate for our PCs that get shipped. We double box them. They're fully insured, so if something does happen, UPS covers the bill on top of being double boxed with packaging on the outside and interior box. So really, like I said, it takes like either a semi-truck hitting it or somebody drop kicking the shit out of it or taking a sledgehammer to it in order to actually do some damage to it. So it has to be an obvious problem on UPS's end if it's damaged. So, all right, I think we are all set here, guys. What do you think of that cable management with how many cables we stuffed back there? Is that clean or what? Is that Empower approved? Come on. You gotta be kidding me. Doesn't like those washers. Top doesn't want to fit because of the washers that I added on the radiator. So, don't necessarily need the washers. We're just going to use a wider screw with a bigger head. Then we'll fire this thing up. So note to self and anybody that's building in the Montech King 95, Pro or not Pro, if you're going to use the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 or the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 in the top, use the AIO screws that Montech provides, specifically because you can't put the top back on if you use the screws with the washer that are included with the Arctic cooler that you purchased. They're too tall. All right, so now this should fit. Simple. Making sure our cables still look clean. Ew. Looks like I put some fingerprints on it while I was removing it. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. There we go. This is really pretty. Thanks. I utilized time so well while Call of Duty was downloading. It's 98.9. Nice. And you have your OBS done already. Perfect, man. You're rolling. Almost there. Let me clean this up real quick. We'll get this plugged in and fired up. Check this thing out. See what it looks like alive. Heavy. Got some weight to it, that's for sure. I don't know what type of reflections we're going to see with the side view. But let's see what we see. We got to reposition the camera just a little bit. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Now the glass has a little bit of a reflection there. Who's ready to see this thing? We ready to power this thing up? First time? In a 3, 2, 1. Whoa. Let's go. I know the RAM's not, or the card, but we'll get there once we get the software installed. Hey, we got a post. AMD Ryzen 7 5800X 3D. Yay. We've posted. What do you guys think? Good balance of the red and black. Pretty badass. I like it a lot. I'm just soaking it in, you know. Ah. Got one peel. Forgot a peel. The blue make everything look purple. 10 out of 10. Looks pretty dope. I want to get Windows installed. And then set the RGB and take a picture and send it to guys. Yeah, the next build, which I know we're getting pretty late here, might reschedule that one for tomorrow. Windows installation underway. I'm just gonna get Windows installed and then I'm gonna get the RGB software going so I can change these lights up and get a photo over to the guys. That'd be pretty cool. Give me 1 second. Thank you, Army vet. Thank you. You won't be disappointed. Yeah. It's a good example, right? You're out? You hate it here? Why do you hate it here? I was just trying to get some photos here. Well, we could probably move on to the next build.
I know it's getting late.
I might want to actually maybe, I don't know. Do we do a second build tonight? It's already 11 o'clock. Or do we just do that tomorrow and start the stream early for once? Because I've got two builds for sure tomorrow, and a third if all the parts show up. So we'll probably have like an early stream and then an evening stream is probably what's going to happen tomorrow. Whose builds are tomorrow? Just curious. So we've got, well, because it's almost 11 o'clock already and this thing took forever to build, we're at 2 hours in. I'm going to be doing a build for James. That would be build number 1. I was going to do it tonight, but we're kind of out of time tonight. It's getting late. So I'll be doing James's build, and it looks like the next build would be for Kyle, and the third would be third and possibly fourth would be in the evening, but a Logan, and if the parts are all here, so a James would be the first build. This would be the early stream, James and the crap. So, I'm sorry. Tomorrow would be James and Kyle. That would be the early stream. The evening stream would be Logan and Chad. Pretty much in that range. What's the turnaround time? Turnaround time right now is about anywhere from 6 to 9 days, depending on, you know, how busy it is. But that's about our turnaround. Plus, we'll be at the FITES event this weekend in Pennsylvania. So, Kyle and Dakota, hopefully. Super excited. What time tomorrow is the early stream? I'm actually not sure. It's probably going to be Eastern time, probably 1 p.m., 2 p.m. is probably when I'll start. But we'll be at the FITES event this upcoming weekend, so pretty much all builds kind of stop while we're out, and then we come back, and then we'll knock out the rest of them. But we don't have we don't have a ton of them. They're going to be sitting here waiting on us. I think we might end up with one because we're still waiting on parts. And then there's another build here. If the case shows up tomorrow, we'll throw that in too. So that might be up to like 5 builds tomorrow. So it'll be pretty crazy tomorrow. And if PC looks great, thank you, sir. Trying to get into Windows so we can load up the RGB software and change it to all red. So yeah, this PC is going to be going to the FITES event. And we went with the red to represent for AMD. Or just red in general. Red and black theme. Last year we did a green and black theme. This year we did a red and black. Next year maybe we'll do Team Blue. Intel. Blue and black. Or blue and white. That'd be cool. Just made it to the desktop, finally. We get the MSI Center. And the Gigabyte Control Center for the RGB Fusion. Come on, kids. Max. While we're here, we're just going to download the drivers too. For the S's and G's. Perfect. I will be watching tomorrow. Thank you again for everything. No problem. No problem. Which build are you waiting for? Are you waiting for Kyle's? Yes. Oh, you're Dakota. Gotcha. It's under Kyle's name. Perfect. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow when we do that one. And it'll be part of the earlier stream. And then we'll have a second stream later in the day. At least that's the plan. So, bear with me. We all know how my plans work out. Last question of the evening? Sure. Are you going to be around at all this weekend for pickup? If not, we can try to pick a day this week before you leave and grab it maybe. I know life is busy. No worries. If I'm not here, I'll actually have my wife, I think, is still going to be here. So you could still pick up during the weekend. That's not going to be a problem. We'll have somebody here. But if not, you would have to pick up on Thursday before I leave. As long as it's ready to go, which I should have it ready to go before I leave. Let me find this gigabyte RGB fusion. I just realized the music was a lot louder than before. Sorry, guys. Somebody should have said, hey, Ben, your music's too loud. But here we are. Hey Ben, we be rocking. Yeah, right? You know what? Personally, I love loud music, so it's just natural for me. Alright, getting these two RGB softwares installed. And we can change their color. For example, unless we have to reboot. Oh, you wee bastard. Awesome, sounds great. I'll see you tomorrow during the build. Thank you again. No problem. No problem. We'll be here. MSI Center is such a pain to do, well, I guess on stream and under the gun, so to speak. It never goes as planned. MSI Center. The installation process is weird, but once you finally have it installed, it's fine. Except for the fact that it always tells you to install Norton. Hey, do you want to install Norton? And we're always like, no, please, no. Stop asking. Almost there. Yeah, this week turned out to be a weird week because it's a short week with us going to FITES in Pennsylvania this week, and also a bunch of orders that came in. So it's like, okay, now we got to do all this before, try to get it all done before we leave, or as much as we can. Not complaining. It just, that's how it always ends up working. I always have... I should just go on more trips more often, because that means more builds will come in, right? Is that how it works? Oh, there's our second Norton request by MSI. Thank you, but no thanks. Now that we have MSI Center, now we have to install the actual Mystic Light segment. Then we can control the RGB. Or at least the RAM. The Gigabyte RGB Fusion, I think we're going to have to restart the PC to get that to work, because it won't launch. So, hey, Mystic Light, you've completed. At least I think it did. We have a spinning wheel of death. Alright. Alright. Hey, we got red RAM. Yep. It did. So we've got the MSI Mystic Light running. Let's go ahead and reboot and try to get our... it goes to RGB when we're rebooting. The rainbow. Oh, and of course, Windows snuck in some updates. Of course. Oh, we snuck it in. You weren't looking. Then we'll get the RGB Fusion up and change the color of the graphics card. Come on, MSI. There you go. RGB Fusion still refuses to launch. Oh, it's special. Oh boy. I don't know why it does that. That is quite frustrating, actually. So, what do we do here? Is it because the NVIDIA driver isn't installed, so it doesn't know that the card exists? And that's the only other thing I can think of. Let's just try to install that real quick. You know, PCs are just special. That's why I love them so much. Back left to play some of The Last of Us Part 1. Nice. What do you think of our red build? Don't worry. I'm working on fixing that gigabyte color. Did we do a good job or what? Looks great. Some lucky person will own it. I know. We'll definitely have some photos up on Twitch and Facebook. So if you're not already following those channels, make sure you follow. We'll get some photos up with that lucky winner and the PC. Okay. I am so over this Gigabyte Control Center or the RGB Fusion right now. I'm about ready to install the control center and try to control the RGB Fusion that way. You're playing on 4K, about 40 to 60 FPS, high settings with ultra textures with the 4070 Ti. Did I encourage you to go play it with the 4070 Ti build today? Yeah, this card's a beast. Finally. There we go. Now it's red. Look at that. That's all we needed to do. That's it. Nice. I did. We finally successfully got everything to red. Oh my gosh. That was a lot of work just to get there. There is software for GeForce RTX logo, right? No. That does not turn on. That's just a sticker or a paint or a finish. We cannot adjust that. The only thing I could do is paint it. And that's it. It looks really good. Yeah, I mean, it turned out really good. I really like it. I like the way it turned out. I was envisioning the red and black theme with AMD kind of theme in mind. Kind of showing off Team Red. And this Montech case just popped. I was like, man, this is it. This is the case. I think I made a very good decision. There's not very many times where I get full control of the build. And, well, here's full control of the build. Red and black. Turned out amazing. It's the 5800X 3D, not the 7800. So it's AM4, not AM5. I have a budget. I still had a budget. The budget was not unlimited, unfortunately. 5800X 3D, yep. Precisely. MSI. Yikes. And we need the BIOS. We can go ahead and do that BIOS update. Get that BIOS update done and call it a night. Let Windows updates run. Get it activated. This thing's pretty much good to go. Except for the fan curves. You can deal with that. And XMP. What else? I feel like I'm missing stuff. I gotta run a benchmark on it too. Just want to see what our temps are when we're running hot. Running hard. Still trying to decide something like the Ryzen 5 5600 or i3 12100 for the low-powered gaming. So I think the difference there, just the core count. I think the Ryzen 5 5600 is going to be the winner, especially if you get it on like a B550 with PCIe 4.0 support. This is going to be a little bit better, I think, than the i3 12100. That's just an opinion, I'd guess. I'd have to look at both of them. Because the i3 12100 is still 4 cores at 8 threads. Your Ryzen 5 5600 is 6 cores, 12 threads. I don't know what the boost frequencies are compared. Pretty close, probably. And both support PCIe 4.0. So it's not like you're losing out unless you go B450. Yeah, the RX 6600, I would I would probably go AM4 Ryzen 5 5600. That's 128-bit PCIe 4.0 B550. Wouldn't go AM4 B450 because you lose the PCIe 4.0. Leave a little bit on the table for that 6600. Oh, it's actually running the latest version of the BIOS already. That, I think, is the first time I've seen in many of years. I'm gonna go ahead and flash it anyway. We got an ultra fresh board, if that's what that was. Well, the BIOS build date was 10/10/2023. That was the last version that they've released for this board. Gotcha. CPU's coming in at 37 Celsius right now. 36 and dropping. Pop OS, yeah. Good old Linux. Taking over the world slowly. Yeah, System 76 operating system. Yeah. Yeah, I've not touched that in a while, so I don't know what it's like anymore. I don't know what's changed. Heard a lot of cool things about it, though. Fans. Alright guys, I'm pretty much done for the evening. We're going to reschedule James's build for tomorrow, because we're already past 11 o'clock here, and we'll have the bench cleared for him. This will be ready to go for FITES. I'll throw some benchmarks at it and see what it does. Pretty good last time. Yeah, have a good night too, Army Vet. Thank you for hanging out, as always. Pretty good last time I played on Pop OS. I played Red Dead 2 and The Last of Us Part 1. Gotcha. So it supports that stuff. It's pretty crazy how far it's come along, the Linux. It's just crazy. But, yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, probably early afternoon. We'll start a build stream, kick it off, do a couple of builds there. And then we'll probably take a little bit of a break and come back on live in the evening for another build, because I do have one customer that's anticipating a build. As long as all the parts show up, we'll have a build to do in the evening. So, Red Dead, my boo-boo. No worries, I got you. I knew what you were saying. We'll be back on tomorrow afternoon and the evening with 2 separate streams, and then hopefully we'll have everything done and ready to go. We can get this special wall-mounted PC that we're going to be working on tomorrow evening installed, because we're going to be physically installing it on the wall, and that'll be interesting. So, and I'll take some pictures and post it up on the Facebook as well, if you want to keep track of that project. That'll be an interesting one. And then, yeah, just builds. And then FITES this weekend. I'll be at FITES, the largest LAN party in Pennsylvania. So if anybody's in the Pennsylvania area this weekend and wants to check out FITES, make sure you go check out the tickets at fites.net. Grab yourself a ticket. Join the LAN party with all the gaming tournaments that they have. This PC will be there as well as me. I'll have a booth there set up to work with some people, help some people answer some questions, hopefully. But this PC will be there to be raffled. It's going to be raffled off at the event. So if you're not able to make it this year, they do it annually every year around the same time in March. So keep a lookout on it, and I'll probably continue to be a sponsor until the day I die, or until it stops. So I'll be there. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Thanks again for joining. I'll see you tomorrow. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully the PUBG maintenance is over, right? No, I'm just kidding. We'll see you guys. Have a good night.